All right, so today we're talking about Sonic Dream Team, and the 10-second timer is for my intro. So, if you don't know, we do these timed so that I'm concise, and it's your turn after the timer's done. Let me just start by saying that this is, I'm sorry, but this is the way I'm always gonna like to see these characters animated, but I understand that that's my bias. The reason I know it's my bias is because it's directly connected to how I've seen these characters most and how I know they've been designed. It makes sense that somebody from a different generation that has a different experience with Sonic in the 3D environment would appreciate what that added at the time in a completely different way. So let's not just get distracted by that. Besides, I have a separate video anyway about the Dark Beginnings animations, Shadow Dark Beginnings, which is the hybrid between something like this, but leveraging the 3D models way more frequently. So I'll let you talk about that in those comments. Sonic Dream Team, though, gameplay-wise, it'll move over to gameplay very soon. So in a nutshell, my thoughts on the gameplay are that it's extremely fun. However, it's fun because it gets to leverage the fact that it's in a dream world. So for starters, we don't have, it's an entirely new world. So that is already making things a lot easier, which they need because it's a mobile game and there's already enough challenges making something like that. So it's a new world, so you don't have the lore kind of salad to crawl through and untangle. But it's a dream world, so the logic can kind of be bent, right? These can be exclusive nightmares or dreams of characters, so it doesn't have to feel like the worlds are lived in. I'll give you a different example, right? So something like Sonic Unleashed, where the goal of that game is to make it feel like Sonic is traveling through the entire world. They've got the lore challenge. They have to integrate, they have to make levels that visually communicate to the player what they need to be doing so they can feel like they're making these decisions, but it has to be cryptic enough where it feels like it wasn't just telegraphed to them and they made the choice themselves. But they're simultaneously trying to make these worlds actually lived in by not just the Sonic characters. So of course there's some times in Sonic Unleashed where it's very obviously Sonic geometry. And that's just evidence of the fine line that we're walking here, right? Sonic is inseparable from those sloped terrain. However, Sonic Unleashed is all about finding the right moments to use those for the photo finishes, the cinematic framing of certain set pieces as you're going through the stage, and making it feel like it's not just tacked on and placed. In a weird, twisted way, I'm glad that something like Sonic Frontiers exists because that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where it just feels tacked on. And if we had deleted all that stuff that's tacked on, which is very easy to do because they look very distinct and separate from each other, Sonic walking on the terrain without all that in Sonic Frontiers is what Sonic would feel like without any of the slopes. It would not feel right. Sonic would feel out of place. And in this game, Sonic feels right at home. I gotta say that the cutscene animations are a step up from Sonic Frontiers, which is really interesting considering this is a mobile game, but that's all I can really say about it. The mouth animations and eyes are where it really shines. So we're gonna move on back on focus to the gameplay, right? So this leads into a curiosity of mine, right? Because Dream Team released right next to Frontiers, and we have all these direct examples, and there's a lot more experimentation going on in the Sonic franchise in general. I really hope a majority of Dream Team's level design ideas are explored. I worry that a lot of them may not translate very well when the goals are similar to something I just explained, like Sonic Unleashed, right? When you need to make these worlds lived in, it's harder to make it really obvious what direction you're supposed to go to and make it telegraphed enough where there's enough of a sense of direction, but not telegraphed too much where it doesn't feel like the player is making any choices, right? The reason Unleashed is really striking is because it's really tying into why I like Sonic, that theme of the wind and freedom of movement and mentality, right? He's trotting through the globe, and as the player, you need to feel like, kind of like when you're watching Sonic and you're not playing as him and it's an animation, like a beautiful one like in the intro here, you want to feel like you're improvising through a normal environment. So something like Unleashed, making a world feel lived in and balancing that telegraphed versus not too obvious kind of feeling, that's what gives you that feeling. So Dream Team loses that a little bit because things are more telegraphed because it's a dream world specifically made for those characters, and you don't imagine other scenes, and it's not lived in. That's the best way to describe it. So for me, I honestly think my ideal 3D Sonic game, gameplay-wise, is a fusion of what's being played with in Sonic Dream Team combined with just that realism aspect that's normally more present and prominent in Sonic games. I think I nailed it. I don't think I forgot anything. There's probably a couple things I forgot, but we'll make a part 2. This game may update more and more. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what you think of my new setup. That's it. Peace.